All right, and welcome back to day 5 of Poseidon week with DEATHCLAW. Now, he showed up. I don't have a whole lot of really issues with him. He did show up missing this little whisker over here. That showed up in the mail today, and now I guess 3 days out, 4 days out, 2 days out. I don't know. It's Monday night, so whenever you see this will be Thursday's video, so 3 days out. Anyway. He showed up missing this whisker. We got it. We snapped it in. Now he has both his little whiskers. And now he's a complete lobster. Now, I remember with the manta ray, with Manta Razor, aka Sea Wing, I mentioned that they just kind of played him like a straight manta versus the manta with legs and a big giant mouth. And here, Nautilator, aka DEATHCLAW, was... he was one of the few monsters originally that really was just kind of a big, monstrous lobster. They didn't really do a whole lot, aside from, exaggerated proportions and making him look a little bit more menacing. He didn't have any extra limbs, probably because he already had 8 legs and some big old claws, so why bother? He does have kind of an old man mouth under here. Like a wah! He looks, and with his whiskers, he looks like a dastardly villain. Looks like the Purple Pie Man from Porcupine Peak. Anyway, but yeah, I like his old man mouth, which is actually formed from his chest plate and his shoulder pads and then his shield or head. But whatever. One of the things that, like I said, I wasn't sure about him. He was a lobster. Okay, he's a cool looking lobster. I do like his little choppy claws, and I like his design overall. I do wish maybe these were yellow or this was red, just something to match between the two halves. But one of the things, like when I got him, I liked him okay, and then I found out that his little tail spreads open like a real lobster tail. I don't know why that is the bestest thing to me, but I really dig it. I really dig that, like, you kind of fold up, but you can also kind of fan it out like a real lobster tail. But yeah, and he's got these little individually posable legs, ball joints, and hinges. Ball joints at the body, then a hinge just past that, hinge at the knee, and then a little hinge at this little toe piece. And they do okay. Like, they're not... You're not going to get, like, a huge... Like, you're not going to get them to stand on all 8 lobster legs with no other support. But you can actually kind of prop him up a little bit. He will eventually droop back down. But, so you can have his front half up a little... angled up a little higher than his back half if you want. He can kind of support himself on them, but they do, like I said, they do very quickly. You can see already, these are already kind of... But whatever. Part of that is because this is a very smooth surface. Yeah, he's got his arms are all angled, his claws open and close, and his whiskers can be posed. You can have them begin straight up if you want. You can have them angled back, however you want. You can kind of fold them back against his head, like maybe he's moving really fast. Whatever, doesn't matter. So yeah. Now, transformation is very simple. I didn't even show off what he comes with. Let's do that first. There's his bio card with his stats on the back. His manual. Now, his manual says he comes with a foot, and I'm pretty sure that is a bald-faced lie. He did come with a hand, but I think this is, I don't remember him coming with a 3rd foot. Maybe I'm wrong, because I only have 2 feet. Did I leave one? Oh, whatever. His gun, 2 silver swords, and then F and E, the gun connector pieces. Another part of the comic with a Magmatron. A lot of the Magmatron art is, a lot of it's resized. You can see, like, this bird is the same bird, just in different poses and zoomed in. This is a different angle on him, but you'll see this same Magmatron head in a lot of shots when he shows up. Recycle a lot of art is what I'm saying. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying that's the case. He also has there's his arm mode with the claws sticking up. I haven't tried him in arm mode yet, actually. And then there's his leg mode with his lobster head front and center. And his gun mode, like all the others, on the foot stand, if you wish. As for the things he comes with, here is the other hand. Mine actually came with, my full set came with two, I think it was two left hands. I think I had to swap this, but because of the ball jointiness and the connector down here, all I did was just swap the thumb over and then you're fine. Pretty sure. Oh, that is the right hand. I'll have to check the other one. But anyway, big hand. Comes with his gun with the kind of razor blade thing on the top. Again, that does flip out to be a longer gun. If you wish, you can have him hold it. His actually works in both directions. Some of them just have like a little nub under here for the when you've got the barrel folded in, and it doesn't really look so much like a gun, whereas his actually looks like you may have a gun barrel there. Well, that also looks like you could tab in somewhere. Whatever. Anyway, here's his gun with a little hingey thing. And then he comes with two silver swords that, again, unlike the previous one where you kind of had to snap them together to form a holdable sword, he's got full pegs on the bottom of his. And you're going to see a lot of different things and a lot of very similar things to some of the previous transformations here. So his legs down here, the first thing you're going to do is untab these little lobster legs from the side of his torso and bring those around. You kind of want to just get these out of the way. And pop the, untab the feet from the pegs on the back here. Again, something common theme amongst these guys. All very different parts with some different transformation bits, but with similar engineering. So these come out, and again, here's where it's different because these are the ball joint. We'll show it off in a minute. But untab all of this stuff from each other. Open up these panels on the side. And then the whole leg. Make sure this gets out of the way so you can fold the leg down. You may actually need to go ahead and fold that down as you're folding the leg up. Like that. And again, we go ahead and fold the tail piece up and through so you have the clearance to get the leg through there. Knees come down and out a little bit. You should tab in. Yeah, there's this little triangle peg here. It's also a tab. You can fit into the back of that kneecap. There's a little, I don't know if you can see it there. There's a little triangle shaped hole in there. So this is a matter of getting that line up. There we go. The feet, now see, here's where it's a little different because the feet actually rotate up on this, or just pop off on the ball joint to become flat and then rotate all the way around. Again, if they cooperate. You're not going to be my friend today, are you? You should rotate. There we go. Rotate before you lift up. Like that. So this panel can come in. Bring the feet. Okay, we're doing this backwards. So fold this up into here, and you can see it's going to fill in that slot in the leg. Make sure the outer fin that folds out is up. Fold that in. This piece folds up, and again, there's a tab here, folds up and tabs onto the back of the foot. And this whole piece should rotate in like that. Bring the feet out at the ball joint. Did something wrong here. Wait, no, did that just sit like that? It may just sit like that. This piece, rotate the legs around so they're facing into the body. Okay, that does sit like this. So this piece comes up, and these legs just sit kind of along the side of the leg, and these pieces come up and sit here on the back of the leg. Like that, and the toe should stay popped on like that. So again, open this up. Pull that up and in. It doesn't slide up at all. Nope, that's it. Okay, whatever. Fold this up. Rotate this around and flip it up and fold this whole, oh nope, I did it the wrong way. Rotate it around here and up. And rotate this whole assembly in like that. Legs, in. You see there's a little tab. That tab goes into that slot. Round it up. And there's his feet done. Up here on the lobster head, take the lower half of his old man mouth here. Let me go ahead and lift this up. Refocus. So you take his old man mouth here, bring this down and out, rotate it down. Is that where his head is? Yeah, his head's in there, so you want to bring the whole thing out here in a minute. Bring it down, bring his shoulder pads out. I'm going to rotate them. We can get them around, rotate them around like that. You have to lift them up a little bit to avoid the shoulder, but lift them up like that. Untab, oh, there we go, this whole thing. That's going to let his head flip up through there, and then bring this back up. And then fold this piece down to form his chest plate, and it should fit. Get it lined up right, it should fit right into the cutout there. There we go, all the way in. Flip his head up. His arms, bring the shoulders up and around like that. Put the shoulder plate down over him. And you can, if you want to, you can leave him with these big giant monster claws, which is kind of cool. His lobster head comes out on this peg, rotates around, and kind of stores on his back. You can also pop it off for a shield, which will show off in a minute. But you can live him with his giant monster claws if you want to. Otherwise, you open this up like this, bring this hinge down to expose his hand, close it up. This piece folds up, down and around onto his forearm, and this piece rotates around and clips on back here onto the back of his arm. Like that. So there's the two of them. You can see, I like how it shortens. I think the claw transformation is actually pretty cool. So flip that down. This out. There we go. Close that back up. Rotate that around. Rotate that around onto his back. And there he is in robot mode. Like I said, you can have him like this. If you want to, you can pop it. I don't like popping this thing off because it's with this ball joint up in the head. Getting it back in that pose is difficult. But if you want to, you can have him wear his lobster head as a shield, which is kind of cool. Especially if you give him the sword. Now he's all knighted up. Transformers, the last Transformers TLK, the Lobster Knight. I'd actually pay to watch that movie. Okay, now getting his sword doesn't want to come out of his hand. And then he can hold his gun however he wishes. Let's see if I can get this back on without swearing. Doesn't look like it's going to happen because it's not only just the ball joint in here, but also the hinge mechanism. Here is a pain in the butt. Oh, there we go. I did it. Hey, something went right for once. You can fold, and then you can fold the whiskers kind of up against that. So he's got the ball jointed head, ratchets at the shoulders. And then these have a ball joint, so these can kind of move with the arms. They do limit the arm from doing a full rotation. He's got just under the bicep swivels, dual hinge elbows. Like it moves more freely at the lower elbow than at the upper ratcheting elbow. Although again, maybe tightening a screw will fix that. But you can see the ratchets there above it, and then the hinge in the forearm as well. He does have wrist swivels, waist swivel, ratcheting hips, pretty much like all the other ones. Ratcheting knees, and then a ball joint at the foot that you can use for various poses. And if you want to, you can flip out his lobster legs and do some more creepy stuff with his lower legs and just be a creep monster. So yeah, he's a lot of fun as well. I'm really happy with how he turned out. He went from probably one of my least favorite original Decepticons. Didn't hate him, but he was just kind of there to actually one of the more fun figures of this set. Also, he does have, if If you want to give him to him, you can give him toe spikes. You can kind of flip those forward a little bit. And give him some toe spikes there so he can kick people in a mean way. Not that kicking people is ever usually a good way. So yeah, there is member number 5 of Poseidon, DEATHCLAW. And real quick, since we've done it for all the others, with all of his fellow Limbots. Again, he is also very heavy on the teal and gray like Manta Razor. Don't worry, I'm going to zoom out. And the leader. So there's the team starting to come together. Looking pretty slick. We got one more left to bring in, who is probably one of the most fun alt modes of the set. And again, for posterity, since it is just sitting right down here. If you decide to paint the head, there's what the whole team looks like. So yeah, one more to go, and then the big guy himself. But there is P05 Manta Razor. Not Manta Razor, DEATHCLAW. Way to botch it at the end there, peaugh, idiot.